Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. I'm back here now on Minizilla, back to Porto Rosas. After a 4 weeks break, it was about time to do some sailing. But before we sailed to Minorca, there was a little prize giving ceremony conducted by the local boat club for the members of my training group who were racing the boats within the last 4 weeks up here in Rosas. After the prize giving, it was time to set sails for Minorca. Being a group of 12 minis, we of course organized this as a friendly race, starting in front of the port of Rosas, passing 2 waypoints in the Bay of Rosas, and then setting course towards Minorca. Okay, now it's time to talk a little bit. We left the harbor in Rosas about an hour and a half ago, and it was quite windy during and before the start. Now the wind died down considerably here going out of the bay from Rosas. So right now I'm still on Reef 1 and Reef Solent, because the forecast is about 25 knots once we get out of the bay. And since this is not really a class mini race and I don't want to break anything, and I also want to conserve my energy for the actual race on Thursday, I decided to take it quite easy. It's 6:30 p.m. now. We're sailing into the evening. We're still in the Bay of Rosas. I think another hour and a half and then we should be the free open. The wind changed, so it's less wind as predicted. Right now we're actually on upwind course, tacking up. A little bit later it should be kind of a reach. But sea state, wave height and wind is much less than predicted. And even when we go closer to the Balears, the wind might even die down early in the morning. So we'll see. It's almost time to eat something. I guess I'll make myself some cup noodle now. All right. Good morning. This was a tough night. Gusts up to 25 knots. I went into Reef 2 on the main. I kept the jib full. I went to sleep quite often, at least 4 or 5 times, I would say, for between 10 to 15 minutes each. I'm pretty much by myself. I lost the fleet. I saw one boat early on the AIS, but I'm now on the direct course to Cittadella. I'm kind of halfway through. Leaving Rosas in the end was quite tricky. Too much wind in the beginning, then no wind. And no wind with high seas. I got seasick really bad. I had to take medication to overcome it. So for a few hours, I wasn't really at 100%. So I would say it's at least another 6 hours. I'm not sure about the wind forecast. I think it's going to die down a little bit and pick up later again. Let's see what we're going to get. I try to keep up my good spirits. See you later. I'm just napping here like this. Try to get some sleep. I'm kind of tired. But good news is it's 8 miles to Menorca. So I will be there soon. Yeah. Wow, I made it. Menorca in sight. It was quite a nice feeling when you really see land for the first time. I've never sailed such a long distance, mostly sailing in the Baltic. It's always like inshore or close to shore. So the 165 miles leading up to Menorca were quite right for at least my standards. I did make a little mistake. While also sailing the first time only by GPS, I changed the resolution and I didn't notice that it was on a 40-mile grid. So I actually made a little bit detour of about 15 miles since I did not jibe early enough to adjust the course. After this long delivery, it was very nice to arrive in such a tranquil and beautiful harbor. However, I immediately had to start getting my boat prepped for security checks. Class Mini is very serious about safety and they did calculate 3 days to check all boats prior to the race. Not only was the upcoming race my very first personal Class Mini race, it was also the first race for my boat, which never ever sailed in any Class Mini competition before, even though I'm the 5th owner. Therefore, I also had to get my sails registered with Class Mini. You do buy some stickers from the class. Each sticker has a serial number on it. A class representative will then come on board, view your sails, check the stickers, and will stamp off each sail. Numbered, stamped and signed. Fun fact, Class Mini sails are never measured. They can be made from any sailmaker you want, and you cannot of course exceed the length of the boom or mast. However, you can make them smaller or adjust the cut to your liking.
3, 2, 1, go!
Any Class Mini boat has to have a safety hatch on the stern. where the life raft is stored, so you can have access to your life raft from the outside of the boat. This helps especially if you would capsize, and you do need to demonstrate that you can retrieve the life raft within 15 seconds.
Okay. Yeah. So that would be it, but like quicker. 3, 2, 1, go.
You do exercise for a reason. As it turns out, one of the handles was kind of jammed. I had to lubricate it to make it work again. And voila, here I managed to get the life raft out within 15 seconds.
Okay, that's good.
Ja, dokumentiere nicht die Scheiße. Das Knattern bei der Max hier war genauso.
Mini sailors do love to climb into the mast. I could not understand that before I actually owned a Mini. You do have to go up quite often, A, for inspection, safety inspection, are the rivets still okay, connection, spreader, mast and such. You do also have to trim the mast quite a bit, especially if you have shrouds that go between the spreader and the mast top. Or sometimes you also have to just go up there to replace a Windex that came off and now lays on the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea. Okie dokie. The race got postponed. We were supposed to be at the start line today at 1. The weather forecast was a little bit tricky. There are too many gusts and too much waves, or the waves are too high to get us out of the port safely. So the race committee decided yesterday at 7 p.m. at the skipper's briefing to postpone till tomorrow at 10. There's another skipper's meeting tonight at 7 where we will get news on what kind of route and how the regatta will pan out for Friday. So I hope it's gonna happen. Maybe they shorten the course or do a different type of routing. We will see. I think the problem I have might be getting back to Barcelona on time, depending on how the weather windows will pan out for Sunday to Monday. Security check yesterday was quite thorough. I was almost complete. I missed one pack of sea dye, which I overlooked, and also, as it turned out, I have to have a permanent buoyancy horseshoe ring here on board. I had an inflatable one. They don't accept that from the Class Mini, and the stores were already closed, so I couldn't get one. But however, I now have this old school life ring. I will mount to the fence in the back so I can race tomorrow. Beautiful weather today, so this is where I am right now, and this is the harbor view. It's now around 2 p.m. so I will go and have lunch with some of the other sailors, and later on I think I will have to, or I want to, trim my mast a little bit more. I think the outer shrouds are a little bit too soft. There's about 210 kilos of force on it. I think it has to be a little bit more for the race tomorrow. And beside that, I think I'm set. Getting kind of bored. I really want to go back out to sea and sail and get it over with in a way. This is my new anchor chain and anchor rope. So you need 28 meters of this rope, 10 millimeter, and 6 meter of chain that is mandatory. I have right now a 6 kilo steel anchor, which is not the ideal choice of anchor. Usually you can also have a 1.8 kilo aluminum anchor. However, I don't have it right now, so I will sail with this, having a little bit extra weight here. And then the Class Mini also sealed my batteries. Over here you can see it. There's another seal on the other battery on the starboard side. So this is to make sure that you don't get any dumb ideas to move the batteries windward while sailing to improve the weight balance of the boat. They try to avoid that by sealing up the batteries to make sure you don't move them. They did the same with the life raft. There is a small transparent thread, a fishing line on there. You can see it over there. And there's also like a lead seal on it. So you cannot move the life raft, let's say also to the windward side, to put more weight on that side to improve your speed and boat performance. So this way the class wants to make sure that the life raft and the batteries stay where they should be. Kind of interesting. I never thought about that, at least for the batteries to move them. But the life raft belongs in the back and it stays there for good. So that was a little bit something I did not expect that they're going to see that. I wasn't really aware of that. And yeah, what else? Yeah, they went through all the things you need, like spare batteries, a spare light. You need paper maps. You need foghorn, manual one here. You need a spare cartridge for your life vest, for example. You need a fire blanket. Took it out of the package to save weight. Talk about saving weight. Mini sailors do sail with a lot of crap in the boats. So once you go racing, you need to really take everything out that you don't need. Every pile here is a boat. So what do you take out? Of course, engine, gasoline, extra water tanks, tools you don't need, food you don't need, solar panels you don't need. Everything has to go to make your boat as light as possible. Now here we are at the long-awaited skipper's briefing. After a short introduction and a weather brief, the race was announced to take place the next day. We, as the mini sailors, are sailing the almost full course of 100 miles to satisfy the regulations required from the Class Mini. So everybody was mostly happy. And yeah, let's go race. So it's 11:45 p.m. I just finished my routing. Since Class Mini does not allow any electronic charts, only paper and a basic GPS, I have to put in all the waypoints manually, and I'll just show you how I did it. So you do read your sailing instructions right here that you get from the regatta officials. Then you take Navionics and punch in the latitude and longitude, make your marks. Just to show you guys on a chart. Then you transfer all your waypoints manually on a piece of paper just to make sure everything is right and in order. Read the last updates on WhatsApp. Then go to the GPS, punch in all the waypoints manually, which I already did, but just to let you know. So I went with R, for example. So RS is route safety. So these are some 2 harbors I could go to in the case of an emergency. And the routes I went by so R001 and so forth. And then If you go back to the main menu, you can see my routing. We are up here, we go to one waypoint, to another one, and over here and back. So Mallorca's over here, Menorca is here. The red skull are areas where I should not sail. And so the start will be around here. This is the finish line later, but the start is in this area. For example, over here. Then we sail to this waypoint which we have to leave on port. Go parallel to the coast in quite a distance to this waypoint. Initially we're supposed to sail around the island, but they changed this for safety reasons, since the wind might pick up quite a bit tomorrow, and it's kind of shallow over here, so they are afraid that maybe somebody will run aground. And then you sail over the canal of Menorca to this island, and here I put 4 marks to go around a nice distance, and then we go back to Menorca, whip over here, and yeah, so this would be the finish line, and then we come back here. All tasks for today are checked. I will brush my teeth now and get some sleep. Alarm will ring tomorrow at 6:30. Breakfast, shower. I have to surrender my phone to get the tracker, so no phones on Class Mini. And yeah, I hope it's gonna be a nice ride. I hope to finish. I hope nothing is gonna break. I'm ready to sail. A little bit nervous. Waiting for the tow. So, auf geht's. Regatta. All the pressure leading up to this moment basically evaporates once you are being towed out. Your mind switches to regatta mode and you can't really await the starting signal. The last minutes before the starting sequence are always very nerve-wracking. Everybody is under a lot of tension, and you do have to make sure that you control your boat very precise, that you don't collide with anybody, and get the best spot possible for you to start the race. Okay, the start already has happened. It was we started and then they recalled us. There was an accident. Some mini drove into the back of another one, and the one that got hit from the back into the back was leaking. So they had to kind of like rescue that boat off. They recalled everybody. We made the second start. Now we're tacking up to our first waypoint. I'm okay. Could have, I don't know. I could have done better, I guess. It's like around 18 knots. I reef 1 full stall length, and yeah, overall the wind is a little bit less than I thought, which is very good. So we are now tacking up the coast, as you can see here. I have right of way right now, so I'm not too concerned, and I'm on my way to the first waypoint. All right.
Cadaqués, Begur, Menorca, Palma, Ibiza, Castellón, Cabo de Arnau, Cartagena, Cabo de Gata, Melilla, Radio, out. Pam, 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 llamada general, llamada general, llamada general. Aquí Cadaqués, Begur, Barcelona, Tarragona, Menorca, Palma, Ibiza, Castellón.
I'm approaching the last waypoint before we finish. Small island at the coast from Mallorca. I think currently I'm actually dead last. I got seasick again, so I was really tired. I'm still super tired. I had to go down and sleep, and then the boat came off the course, so I had to tack and unnecessary things. The beginning was actually, the upwind part was quite good for me, but the minute it went downwind, not so good. Thomas came by with his Vector, with a Reef 1 and a Reef Solent. He was still faster than me with his new boat. So yeah, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So yeah, let's see how this island rounding goes. It's an island with no lights and no markings, so it's just marked in my GPS. I hope I didn't make any mistakes. Wow, that race was intense. I was really exhausted. I think I didn't really recover even from the delivery, and being seasick, my energy level was pretty bad, and made also some stupid decisions or lack of decisions. I paid the price, so from 15 registered starting minis, 2 were DNS, and I was 12th. So not the result I hoped for. However, I finished the race. That's already something. Okay, so it's Sunday afternoon. I arrived early morning around 5. Took a rest. At 1 o'clock we had our prize giving, and after that I prepped the boat, and I'm sailing back now to Barcelona. We are 3 boats: Ginto, Vector, and myself. It's about 100 miles, so arriving will be estimated to be tomorrow morning at one point. So yeah, I hope this coming back will be successful. Wind forecast is a little gusty and rain. We will see. I got the storm jib ready, so let's do it. As it turns out, the return to Barcelona was not meant to be this afternoon. We tried to tow out the Vector first. However, the sea state was so rough that the towing lines ripped out of the motorboat, and we had to abandon the idea of sailing back. Instead, I was flying back to Barcelona the next day to get my return flight to Berlin.
And they tried to pull out the Mini here. That was not the smartest.
Minizilla had to stay behind, as most boats from this regatta. They were picked up on a later date to be returned to their home ports. The next day, one boat managed to leave the harbor. 1052 was heading downwind to Sardinia. Arrivederci! I packed up my belongings and traveled to the airport to catch my flight. The delivery to Menorca and the race and all the days in between was such a great experience. I really learned a lot. I love to hang out with class mini sailors. They're just the best. I hope I can continue racing some mini races in the future. However, it is very exhausting, so I do have to kind of I think, improve my personal performance, get a little bit more fitter to kind of handle all the beating and strains that come with sailing a class mini boat. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.